all the ice on the rocks. And that cage for the jet skis for the city, that thing is completely ice. Might get some bigger waves right in this little area just because the break wall right there, the waves rebound, and sometimes the waves get a little bit bumpier over here. There's something going on over by CEI that they were talking about, probably something to do with tearing that place down. I know they've done a couple controlled explosions, do demolition stuff. The easiest part of dealing with waves is when you're going right into them, because your boat will want to cut, well, a boat like this will want to cut right through them. I know I've said it already, but man, what a wonderful morning. You will not get a complaint out of me in this kind of conditions. See, it's stuff like this, you got to kind of challenge yourself, people. If you don't go out and do stuff that's a little bit scary and creepy, because the idea of drowning or dying in this lake is kind of a creepy feeling, to be all by yourself. And if you're drowned, then that's one way. If you're freezing to death and you're dying from hypothermia and exposure, that's a different feel. Generally, you don't lean back in a kayak like this You don't paddle like this for sure. You're supposed to sit up and be in like a, your body should be in a 90-degree L, but because of my back issues, I do have to allow myself to decompress, because like I said, this suit, if I wasn't in a wetsuit, I would be perfectly comfortable. You know, my legs would act up, but it wouldn't be like it is now. And man, just to get out here, the job it took just to get myself out on the lake today, I went and I didn't expect it, but there was ice all throughout the cockpit where I'm sitting. So I had to actually go in with one of my big kind of chisels for mechanics, working on cars and stuff. And I was able to use that to break it up. I put water in and I just rocked the boat back and forth on shore until it loosened up that ice enough for me to be able to break it apart. But my whole cockpit was completely solid ice. Oh, there's still ice in here, just not where I'm sitting. As all lopsided. If I would have put the boat in without breaking that ice out of there, I wouldn't have been able to paddle, because it would have held the boat on probably my right edge due to where the ice was packed, but I wouldn't have been able to kayak with that. Yeah, if you're into peace and quiet and you like time alone like I do, and you're not afraid to do things that are a little bit out of the ordinary, like I said, you're not seeing anybody else out here. I do see what appears to be a boat, but I can't really tell, but I do think it's a fishing boat of some sort, probably. Yeah, I hope that cop that I was talking to, that police officer I was talking to yesterday, I hope he sees me out here today. I hope he's on the clock and he goes past and he says, "There's that crazy son of a bitch." He's like, "I guess he does have the gear." Yeah, when you tell people that you kayak in water this type of temperature and stuff, they tend to think you're stupid. You know, they don't take into account that there are people who do, you know, odd hobbies. This is around here, this would be considered a odd hobby. But I mean, what better way to challenge yourself? I mean, the temperature of the water is one problem, then it's rougher out here, that's another. I mean, an 18-foot boat, when you're dealing with wind, you know, sometimes it's hard to turn this thing. If the wind catches you on your side, it wants to push you one way and stuff. That's where I have this skeg thing here. It's just a blade that comes down kind of like a shark fin, but underneath the boat, and it keeps the boat from being able to be pushed one way or the other. Like if I don't do nothing, I'll start spinning towards the east just because of the direction of the wind and the waves, the current. Because again, the wind direction is opposite of what the waves are right now. So the wind's actually one of the reasons I'm dealing with these waves. After this, I'll have to run to the store real quick and get Nadia something for lunch. Another thing that's kind of cool about kayaking is the action of the waves, the way it'll move the boat underneath you. You have to get used to, because you're sitting pretty straight. You try to stay level. It's your hips that are moving, allowing the boat to do this number and tilt. So you have to get used to the way the boat's going to be pushed underneath you. And man, it can feel weird. It's almost like being levitated in some of the instances. Like if I catch a wave broadside and it carries me across the water sideways, oh man, it's such a weird, neat feeling. Like I said, this isn't even that rough. I mean, I don't even feel, if this was the summertime, I wouldn't be wearing a helmet probably, just because it's, I mean, it's, for most people would be too much, but for me, I'm pretty comfortable. This is pretty reasonable, I think. So the helmet isn't really necessary if it was warm out, but with it being cold and everything, all I need is to go into that water and something does hit my head. And with it being cold, that would not be a good thing.